Okay, I'm going to talk to you here, and hopefully you can hear me up there at the top of the staircase. I want you to get a sense of how big this building is, and we all know what's the color of the roof? Green. What is happening with this roof? Well, you can tell the historical significance of something by how many misnomers and myths and questions there are about it. And the first question we need to answer is, how tall is this building? Well, you see, when it opened, they advertised that it had 35 floors and it was 350 feet tall. But then they added a flagpole, which took it up to 400, but then they took down the flagpole, so it was back to 350, but then they put an antenna, and then it was tall, but then they took it down. Yes. And for 35 floors, you would expect to walk into the elevator, and what's your top number? 35. Well, if we go inside the elevator, the top floor is 29. And okay, so it's 29 floors, but wait. There's not a 13th, so we're down to 28 floors. But wait, there's a basement, so we're back to 29 floors. But wait, there was once a mezzanine, so we're now to 29.5 floors. But wait, there's 2 mechanical floors underneath the green roof, so we're roughly at 31 floors. But wait! This tour is gonna get a lot bigger, all right. We're gonna have problems. So listen, folks, how tall is the building? Tonight, we are going to go to the 28th floor. We will wind up at the 29th floor where you see those rounded windows up top there. And you will go to the base of the green roof where you see the gargoyles at the top. That is the 31st floor. So you are one of only 2 groups that get to go all the way up it. Now I want you to know, underneath the green roof, what did they put underneath that roof? It was a giant water tank with 30,000 gallons of water. Now you've been to New York, you've seen those water tanks on the buildings. What's the big deal? In New York, those water tanks are on the exterior of the building. At Tower Life, the water tank is inside the building. So I want you to envision how comfortable you would be with a water balloon hanging over your head. Now picture a 30,000 gallon water balloon over your head. What was that water for? 10,000 gallons was for domestic use, for you to be able to drink and have water in the building. 20,000 gallons was for fire suppression. For the water to drain from the roof if a fire had to be extinguished. You may know at one point there was a fire here at Tower Life building, but that system was not in place at the time. The fire came later after they had already removed that water tank. So that's the interior of the building. Let's talk about the exterior of the building. I want you to see that at street level we have this white facade outside the building. Then do you see the first row of brick windows? That is floor number 3. Go up to the top of the 6th floor, you see a white band. That is floor number 7. Go up to the next white band, that's floor 21. And go up to the top white band, and that is floor 27. How did they build this building? Steel and cement columns that you already saw in the photo, but then they had the bricklayers come to build this building, to finish the exterior. And listen to me, they had 40 bricklayers and they had 40 laborers. What would happen? The bricklayers were put into 3 teams. Don't forget, tonight you're in 5 teams. They had 3 teams. Team 1 started at street level. Team 2 started at floor number 7. And Team 3 started at floor number 21. The bricklayers would punch in the morning, had a stack of bricks just like these chairs. They would go to work laying those bricks. They would punch out at the end of the day, and the 40 laborers would start their work, raising the bricks up so that all the materials were in place the next morning when the bricklayers came back to work, and they lay those bricks, and they lay those bricks. The entire, listen to me, Are you listening? The entire exterior of the building was built in 16 weeks. It took under 4 months for every detail of brick and stonework you see on the exterior of the building. Couldn't we use that on I-35 these days? Wouldn't that be nice? I know. But anyway, those bricklayers did a good job. I want you to look at floor number 3. There was a bricklayer. They were as young as 21 years old. He's working on the 3rd floor. He steps off the 3rd floor and falls onto his knees at street level, bangs up his knees a little bit. But he's okay. There was another bricklayer on the 26th floor. Look all the way up there at the top. He falls off the side of the building on the 26th floor, grabs a cable, swings into the building at floor 23, and immediately goes back to work. They said he did not even have indigestion that day and that there were no problems. He's like, why are you making such a big deal? I'm fine. So really something incredible, just like a bubble machine. Aren't we grateful for bubbles? Okay, let us have our friends pass. The next thing I want to tell you about is the interior of the building. I told you flooding was a concern, so the ground floor and the basement have very, very ridiculously thick walls that can hold up against significant water pressure on the exterior. On the interior of the building, look at the windows. Look how they have a horizontal line. Originally, these windows have been replaced, but the original windows had a horizontal line. You could open the window towards you and you had a fresh breeze. So all 1,500 windows above street level could be opened and every room had a ceiling fan. So they said it was one of the best ventilated buildings in San Antonio at the time. Once again, sanitation. Every floor, when you went to wash your hands, you had access to hot water, cold water, and ice cold water. And they had a new engineering feat of soap tanks behind the wall where you could fill it up with a large quantity of infinite soap. And every time you went to wash your hands, you always had soap there to wash your hands. People said, it is so safe, it is so sanitary, you should make this your home. I told you children looked at this building and they saw the future. You know who else looked at this building and saw the future? Sears. Attorneys. Attorneys said, my gosh, can you imagine if this was my office and the courthouse is right over there? This could be fantastic. They realized we're gonna pitch this building to attorneys, and they advertised for 2 years. There will be a pneumatic tube that runs from the Tower Life Building, Smith Young Tower, to the courthouse to carry your legal papers back and forth. And attorney said, sign me up. When they open the building, the newspaper has a paragraph about this big that says, and by the way, the planned pneumatic tube was not possible, but we'll have a messenger service instead. Still move in, it's gonna be fine. So some changes have taken place to the building over the years, but really incredible. And one last thing I wanna tell you, a misnomer, you may even think this yourself. Sears Roebuck was in this building, and almost every tour guide I know says they were in the first 6 floors of the building. Why would you say that? Because everyone else says that and it's convenient. Look behind me, the 6 floors are a big portion, but it's not true. Sears was in the basement, Sears was at street level, Sears was floors 2 and 3, and floor 4 had backstock and administrative offices. Sears was never in floors 5 and 6. So if you go back and read the papers and read the building descriptions, that's the only area that Sears was in. So a great perspective of the building from street level or river level. Now we are going to go back up the staircase and meet me at the corner of the building right there where Patsy Light is. Here we go.